Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you all, and I'm hoping that we can answer as many of the questions that have been sent in ahead of time. And as Denise has indicated, we will be having an opportunity after the registered speakers have had their kick at the can for you to add your questions and comments before we do any replies to any of the questions. So with that in mind, Denise has already indicated that we are working under the rules of our process for a council meeting. So we will be speaking to the speaker and to the public from there. And there will be as little as possible internal discussions going on so that we'll have a good report from the machine here that's supposed to keep track of it all. So with that, I will ask that we accept the agenda as presented.
So moved, Councilor Steele.
John. Okay, Eric and John. Anyone opposed? It is carried. Anyone have a pecuniary interest in what we have before us here tonight? One. So our mayor's opening statement is just as I had indicated, we are going to be running the rules of a council meeting. So we'll all be respectful of those at the podium or at the hall, as they call it now. And we will proceed according to the agenda. And our speaking agenda process is Alicia Young as the first kick at the can here.
Hi. I'm glad I didn't look at the agenda before coming here, because being first is a little nervous.
Well, this just sets the stage.
Okay, I'm gonna read off my phone. Not great at public speaking, but here we go. So, good evening, Mayor and Council. My name's Alicia Young. I was born and raised here. I'm here as a taxpayer and as a mom of a 6- and 2-year-old. First, thank you to the volunteers in this room. Many of you helped make Providence Bay a great place for us to grow up, and families like mine still greatly appreciate and rely on what you built. Now to the phone. Closing Providence Bay Arena and Spring Bay Hall is not a budget decision. It's a decision to remove childhood from our communities. Kids already live on screens. The need for safe, real-life places to run, skate, play, and belong, especially in the winter months, is real. This is exactly what these buildings provide. Times have changed. Parents are far less comfortable hosting large gatherings at home or dropping kids off at anyone's home like they once were. Public buildings are now safe, trusted places for birthday parties and family-focused events, and that need is real. Many residents are hearing that Providence Bay is being treated as if it should become summer only, while services are centralized elsewhere. We are not a resort town for 2 months of the year. We live here, we pay taxes here, and deserve year-round services. We are also hearing that removing the ice would allow the arena to be decommissioned and possibly sold. If that happens, what becomes of the very important off-ice uses of that building and the importance to our town? Removing the ice is not a small change. It's the first step toward losing the arena entirely. Once the ice is gone, programming drops, usage drops, and then we are told the building isn't needed. And this is a very slippery slope. Spring Bay Hall is also the only public gathering space in that town. If it closes, Spring Bay loses its community heart. I've attended many events there, and when I've tried to book it myself, it's often already full because it is needed. And I have a simple question. If you cut down to one community space, where does life go? Where does a hockey game, a birthday party, a baby shower, a wedding shower, an exercise class, a stag and do, a funeral, a seniors gathering, an art class, a community meeting, all in one building on the same weekend? It won't happen. It can't happen. And let's remember, we don't have conference centers or legions in this municipality. So families lose options, events disappear, and communities shrink. And you do not attract families by shutting doors. Council also needs to recognize what has changed since COVID. People moved here or returned here because remote work became possible. I'm one of them. I came back after building my career to raise my family here. Working my career while living in this little slice of paradise has become possible because remote work exists. Young families are here now, and more will come if we build communities worth living in. People choose Providence Bay for real reasons: larger lots, no sewer and water bills, affordability, and a quieter lifestyle. But families will not choose to live here if you remove recreation spaces that make daily life work. We already have buildings that were given to the municipality. They exist, they function. Use them, maintain them, add programming. There's so much opportunity to do more. Do not discard what we have and then talk about spending millions to replace it. Now let's talk about the big arena. If the only way a new facility reported to cost around 69 million can happen is by closing other arenas on the island so other municipalities can partner with us, what happens to Manitoulin minor hockey? Is it realistic for families to drive over an hour each way so their kids can have winter activities? It's not feasible. You're not thinking about the geographic separation of the island population. Families will drop out. We are being asked to accept the loss of our arena based on this report, a report that says the new one only works if other island arenas close. Yet there is no guarantee that other municipalities will agree to that. That's not a plan. That is speculation. And Providence Bay should not lose services for a project that may never happen. Improve Mindamoya, absolutely. Add dressing rooms, improve washrooms, fundraise, phase upgrades in. But do not solve one problem by stripping services from Providence Bay and other smaller communities. These are separate communities and should be treated as separate line items, not sacrificing one because another is in worse condition. Some taxpayers may see a shiny new building and think it's a no-brainer. But the only way a project like that works financially, and even then it is a maybe, is if other municipalities use it too. That's a gamble, not a guarantee. We know how strong other island communities are too. Now the reality at home. If buildings close, the work does not disappear. It gets pushed onto volunteers. Volunteers are already stretched thin. People are working more. Housing costs are rising, and early retirement is less common. We cannot run our municipality on burnout. Municipal jobs that operate these facilities also matter. They fuel our local economy and provide stable work with benefits and pensions, something that's increasingly rare here. If decisions are being made based on usage or revenue numbers, here's another reality check. I rented multiple municipal facilities over the last 4 years and was never charged, even after trying to follow up until the new system was introduced recently. Billing is inconsistent, the data cannot be accurate. If council wants real numbers, keep buildings open, run the new booking system properly, then reassess. Do not make permanent decisions using incomplete information. So my message is simple. Keep Providence Bay Arena open, keep Spring Bay Hall open, keep winter programming alive and invest in it, because Providence Bay is not summer only. Protect our kids, protect our families, protect our communities, and I'll end with this. Once these buildings are gone, so is the community they built. And I'm asking you, as a parent, please do not take that future away from our children.
Thank you, Alicia.
Who says she's not a public speaker?
Next on the docket is Guy Nyland, is it? Nealon?
Good evening. I'm Guy Nealon, I live in Minnemoya, and I'm opposed to the divestment of the Spring Bay Hall and decommissioning Providence Bay Arena. Under 12 steps to develop a multi-use recreation center, the consultant's final report, which I have here, states the following. Point number 6, share your vision with the community. And point 7, develop a strategy to socialize and market project to the community. How could you have fulfilled these 2 points when the motions to divest the Spring Bay Hall and defund the ice were presented and passed at committee level 2 hours after this report was presented to council and the community? I know this for a fact because I was present at both those meetings. This council has made a rash choice to ram through decisions affecting these two facilities without fully considering the consultant's reports. $146,000 was spent on this consultation, and it was ignored. And in the public's opinion, it was a waste of $146,000 of taxpayer money. There are no new partnerships. 2 to 5 were recommended. No new site, unless demolishing the current Minnemoya Arena, Lions Pavilion, United Church, and ball field are the new site. No vision was shared with the community, and no strategy to market this project to the community. Only a small percentage of ratepayers in Central want a new facility. There were 322 respondents to the survey, and 54 of them, which is 17%, were from communities other than Central Manitoulin. Central's population is approximately 2,400. The 322 respondents to this report equals 13.4% of our population, but only 11.2% if we don't include those from outside Central. The largest group of the respondents identified hockey as their main activity in the community facilities. The majority of respondents also preferred maintaining the existing facilities over building a new one. I can say with absolute certainty that the majority of your ratepayers do not want a new facility. This facility comes with a huge price tag of $68.3 million. And we do not have the tax base to support a project of this magnitude. If we divide that $68.2 million by 270,000, which is the current operating and maintenance expenses listed in the consultant's report for both arenas, we can operate both arenas for 250 years.
How many?
250 years. The replacement of these facilities is not a problem for this council. This is something that is not for this generation or the next after that. Maintenance is the key factor here. Maintain what we have. There's too much community pride in these facilities, as you can see here tonight, to shut them down, as they were built to commemorate parents, grandparents, and family members of our local residents who served in the 2 world wars. Now, to the new strategic plan, which was adopted and passed by council 2 weeks ago on January 29th. After reading your mission statement and values, where responsible, informed decision-making and transparent and fiscal responsibility are listed, I would like to suggest, instead of racing ahead to decommission and divest facilities in perfect working order, I recommend to council that you reset and follow the guidelines set out in the consultant's report and your own strategic plan. Be fiscally responsible, maintain the facilities that we have, rather than spend millions upon millions upon millions of dollars that we do not have, and which will create a rift in this municipality that may be irreconcilable. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy. Maya Malonen? You're up next. Hi.
Good evening. My name is Maya
Maya,
Miyalan.
can you go to the podium, please?
The owl.
You don't need it.
Our tax base cannot support a $68.3 million arena.
You need to face the owl, please.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I would have liked to speak to you.
Go ahead.
So here I go again. Council knows my name is Maya Miyalan. Our tax base cannot support a $68.3 million arena. Our annual revenue is around $10 million. Our chief financial officer said that we do not have sufficient funds in the bank that would be needed for a grant application that represents 10%. The $146,000 consultant report lists many steps. One of them, 10,000 people are needed to support a new arena facility. Second, 2 to 5 other municipal partners are needed. Third, building community buy-in will be important. Fourth, a financial plan is needed, and many more to go, but we only have 5 minutes. Us carrying a $68.3 million cash flow will be an interesting exercise. In the past 5 years, we made capital investments of $552,000 to the Providence Bay Arena. Thank you for all of that. Now it has a clean bill of health for the next 5 years. It is accessible. It's used all year long. It's cheaper to maintain than Minimoya Arena. In an emergency, it will provide shelter. It has a kitchen to provide food. It has showers, and it is accessible. We also know that Providence Bay is zoned for growth and is a very attractive hamlet for young working families, as we heard from Alicia, and there's many more like her. Summarize. Preemptive motions to decommission and divest our existing buildings, that we have invested over $500,000 into them, shows us that you did not work from a plan. Central's website also shows that there was no strategic plan in place for from 2021 to 2026. Like I said, until 3 weeks ago. We have insufficient funding to apply for grants. Our tax baseline is so low, we cannot finance a new facility. Funders will not entertain our grant applications without a 2 to 5 municipal partners in place. We also question the location. We don't have the land to build on where you want to build on it. I say it again. We cannot afford a new facility. We, the people, care to plan and live within our means. The consultant's report bolsters a new facility by using the town of Malmer, Ontario, as an example. Their population is around 3,600. Despite having the funds to build a new arena in place, unlike us, they opted to fix their old arena because why? Their public support was missing. What a great example of a municipality realizing that their taxpayers matter. We inherited buildings achieved by people, efforts, and energy from the past. We take issues with your decision to burden us financially with high taxes and offer reduced services. We oppose any and all plans that will financially stifle future councils, as they will need to have the ability to function and increase childcare, elder care, affordable housing, work you neglected to tackle in your term. Again, we care that we service us within our means. Pivoting to Spring Bay Hall. It is fully accessible. It is in excellent condition as per the consultant's report. The maintenance costs are minimal as we are able to service the community and fire hall together. In an emergency, we will need all our halls to serve our people. Let me briefly get back to the importance of a governing body working from a comprehensive strategic master plan that lists community identified goals arranged into a 1 to 30-year priority list. Set plans will provide a clear path to follow and provide a strong foundation funders want to see in any grant application. We care that we operate within our means, which I had said before, to achieve a healthy, happy, diverse community. You all may wonder why I chose to speak tonight. I'm not from Providence Bay, but I am a long-term resident of Central Manitoulin and live in Minnemoya. I live and work and play here. I have attended all municipal meetings in the past 6 years, and I do my research because I care for this community and its people. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Darren, Stewart, are you in the audience somewhere?
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll put you at the podium there because you have to talk to this eye out there.
I knew I had something going on tonight, I just couldn't remember what.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Jackie would say set your timer. Okay. So I've already spoken, you're all present at the property meeting. Some of you may have seen that, some of you may have been there or seen it on Zoom or heard about it. It was also, the article was in the paper, kind of explaining where I was coming from as a community center, Providence Bay Community Center Board member. That's important to know that I'm here as a spokesman for that committee. We kind of we're arm's length of council. We are a board of council, and we focus on the building that we're in here and the Providence Bay Arena. And so when we found out kind of suddenly that there's a lot of plans to close specifically Providence Bay Arena, which is what I'm here to speak of. Others will speak of Spring Bay Hall. Just as a quick side, very well used. I do get a lot of feedback from the whole island just because I guess the position I'm in, and many people around the island think that the Spring Bay Hall is still viable and they do use it. I'll leave it at that. If you remember, we made Providence Bay Community Center Board has made a financial commitment because we do not think that it should be closed. Refer to much of what Alicia said, because that did sum up a lot. Thank you, Alicia, and you are a public speaker. So we have 15,000, we've committed before 15,000 a year for 5 years. We do not want the ice plant decommissioned. That is unwise in our opinion. We have since then, so Renee on our board is, well, I don't want to name everybody, but Renee Cranston will be speaking. Jackie White is behind the scenes, the brains behind the operation. We've also proposed shortening the season because we want Christmas holidays to have ice. We want our January tournament to have ice for sure. We do not want to take anything off the back end, which is our Bradley McAllister Memorial Tournament. which is at the end of March. Any issues with extra hydro and staffing, we've also said as a fundraising board that we would subsidize those costs. So we're kind of going a little above and beyond the tax base in putting, I don't know, our money where our mouth is type of thing, just to get the point across. Please do not decommission the ice plant. Okay, so now I'm gonna devil's advocate here because the 68 million gets, and I can do every side of this. It's just like, I've just been involved in too much of it that I can argue any side of it. I can argue a new facility if you want. Say, okay, so say there is a new facility and it's not 68 million and it somehow can come about financially responsible. The municipality has acquired a large property adjacent to the arena in Mindemoya with consultant's report in hand. This land is ideal for the construction of a new arena and recreational complex sometime in the near future. We encourage everyone to review the plan, which we have, and provide any input and thoughts that are appropriate for this project. If the church and the arena need to be leveled for a construction of some kind, that is not going to happen between March when the ice goes out and December when we need ice again. There will be a time period where we don't have an arena if that plan were to go forward. Do not decommission the ice plant in Providence Bay when it could be needed in some way, shape, or form, even in that scenario. We don't want to decommission and we want to use it as is regardless, but in that case of a new facility in that site, we'll need the Providence Bay Arena during the interim. Without the ice plant, that is done, it's over. That is off the table, it's a non-option. And we have a working vehicle, a second working vehicle by some miracle, and maybe the only place in Canada that does. And it's there in the driveway in case we need it. It's certified. Why would we hire a mechanic to come and remove the engine of that place, of that vehicle, we'll go vehicle, that building in this case? It doesn't make sense. It is not logical in any way, shape, or form. It's just kind of that simple. You know, I don't know how to say it, but it's just, if that makes sense to anyone.
Yeah.
So, how do I, in conclusion, we've laid out what we want to do. I know you've heard me use Jackie's name, so she's gonna be mad at me, but that's okay. Because part of the deal is, she's offered programming and she is top shelf programmer. Like, I mean, top shelf on this island. And if she's offering programming at our arena, we are crazy not to see that through and give us a chance, please, to carry on and just make our community the way it is. I don't know.
Thank you, Darren. Penny, you're up next.
Good evening. My name is Renee Cranston. Thank you to everyone who has taken the time to come out tonight to show council the support both Spring Bay and Providence Bay have. We gather tonight to hold council accountable for their actions and decisions they are making as we fight for our recreational facilities. We, as ratepayers, deserve the same accessibility to recreational facilities as any other rate-paying community do. If not all council is present here tonight to answer questions, listen to concerns of the community, how can they vote when they haven't heard all the facts are reviewed. The municipality of Central Manitoulin defines its missions as a progressive community, providing quality services, well-maintained infrastructure, and support for economic development, while serving as a friendly place for seniors and families to live. Our key mission principles, one of them is progressive services, delivering high-quality services and maintaining infrastructure. Mr. Chair, can you please explain how closing the Spring Bay Hall and decommissioning the Providence Bay War Memorial Arena are following the municipality of Central Manitoulin's mission statement? Why did we pay over $140,000 for a recreational infrastructure report if we're not even using the report's findings or following the recommendation? Mr. Chair, I asked Councillor Basilian to explain what the decommissioning process and the full cost of the decommissioning process of the ice plant. Can Councillor Basilian explain why this is a reasonable option instead of the typical yearly plant shutdown? How is this a financial benefit to ratepayers? Why are we spending more money to decommission this ice plant? Did the Providence Bay War Memorial Arena not just receive the following upgrades: a 5-year inspection, a compressor overhaul, a new glycol loop and compressor, new ventilation system for fresh air, new fire door to ice plant, a new T4004 ice plant slab and controller? If all of this has been recently done, how is it in the taxpayers' best interest and a financially smart decision to decommission this ice plant? Why are we not making a commitment to what we already have? It has been brought to council's attention that not all rentals at our facilities have been bailed out over the years. I ask, how can you provide these financials if they are missing billable hours, which leads to inaccurate revenue? When you control the numbers, you control the narrative. Has council looked into other cost-saving avenues or ways to increase usership instead of decommissioning? If your future plan is an out-of-reach, overpriced multi-complex, why are we decommissioning the Providence Bay War Memorial Ice Plant? If we don't have the property for said building, we don't have the tax basis to pay for said building, we haven't received enough or any funding for said building, we don't have the population for said building. So I ask, why are we doing the last step first? Why decommission the ice plant if no plan is actually in place? Have the ratepayers been involved in this said plan? The Providence Bay War Memorial Arena and the Spring Bay Hall have hosted many special events throughout the years, and hopefully council's decision will allow us to continue to host many more. In conclusion, please note that I personally, along with everyone in this room and more, want to keep this facility open in Providence Bay and Spring Bay. I ask that you don't take something away, as we will never get it back. I also ask that you contemplate the validity of physical and mental health in our youth that don't need to get a ride to another part of a municipality to be active, that you consider the significance of kids hanging out skating rather than on their devices, that you acknowledge the importance of community members socializing and the strong need for engagement for all to be able to get out and be with others. As council looks forward to the future, please keep in mind that bigger is not always better.
Thank you, Randy. Lyle Dewar.
Lesson number one, as Joe Cranston said to me just there now, lesson number one, you have the hall meeting first. Then you make a decision afterwards, not make the motion and then, this has happened. We're going to hold up something here. Right here. Yes, you're gonna have too many papers.
Just go for it.
Anyway, I'm gonna hold it up. And it's a sheet of what was happening here in 1988. We had this many people meet here when a council, not this council, this is before, this is how crazy councils can get sometimes. They were going to try and put a marina right down here on the sand, right beside the river. And the breakwater was gonna go right around, almost meeting right around the existing opening on this side so the boats could get out. I think it was 48 slips. They had, it was all printed out and everything. And so we held a meeting and it was about this many people and shot it down. Now, I don't think we'd ever gone through, but that's how we really have to be careful what we vote on and what we see and what we do, eh? And I want to thank council for counseling is a horrible job. I know it is. You're having to put up with all of us and all that stuff. But I really appreciate somebody doing it. It's a hard job. It really is. And I just, everything's been said for all the wonderful speakers here. I looked into how much Little Current. Well, first, before I better mention, you notice how things have kind of gone down in Minimoya, haven't been fixed up. They need a place for the wheelchairs to get into the hall and things like that in the bathroom and all those things. Now, if you're building a sports complex, you don't worry about that stuff. We're building a complex, and that's what's been happening in the last few years. It has been kept up. We've always had strong voices from Prov. I've got a list here. I think there's 14 of them, really strong. And that's why this here place here, all kept up, beautiful. You can get into all the washrooms with a wheelchair, same as the arena up here. Being strong voices. I can go through them all. In fact, I do have one picture I can find. Right here, the reeve of the township at one time was Peter Williamson. And he farmed over by the lake over there, Lake Shore. Anyway, he is in this picture. And the picture is of the first directors for the Providence Bay Fair. And he was so adamant that it was already held, the fair was going on for years, but he was so adamant that they were going to build on, make it even bigger and better, and that's exactly what happened. But so from that time, we've had all these strong people voicing for Providence Bay, and that's why you see it here. And same as Spring Bay. Actually, Spring Bay Hall, that was well looked after before the wards got together.
Yeah.
And no kidding, they even had a newspaper come out of there. What was it called? The Spring Bay Spring Break Chronicle. I don't know how many issues there were, but they really look after the place. They did everything. They had a roads board and I believe a service board. And so that's, anybody been in the hall in Spring Bay lately? It's bright and beautiful. It just is really nice. It might need some help. But that's what happens. Over Minimoya, we're gonna build that mansion. And, you know, we kind of let things go. No, it needs to be fixed. We want that arena over there to be fixed and kept in good shape. I got in touch with a person from Little Kurt and I said, what is the bottom line for expense? By the way, there's that thing I was going to show you, the marina. It's all spent out here. I said, how much does it cost just to run it? They have, you know, the official ice and the whole deal out there. 700,000 just to run it. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Lyle. Jeanette.
Yes, I am a community member. But I believe that I'm able to look at the situation. I'm a new member of the community. I have a business in Gordon Township. But I have a specialist degree in urban economics, and I also have sat on the Toronto Advisory Committee for the City of Toronto. And I've worked for a private consulting firm in Toronto. I was also a tier 1 planner in Southern Ontario, and I've been a business owner for 30 years. I've read this report from back to front several times. The reality is that what they've prepared is a rich buffet of conceptual scenarios that we can't afford. It's impossible. What the problem is, not with the report, but with what's been happening for decades here in this community, is that we have an absence of capital reserves. And it stems back to the 1960s when these things have been built. Capital reserves were not set aside for these inevitable repairs and replacement. And the fundamental reason that that is the fundamental reason why there's no easy path forward. I don't envy your position because we live in a municipality that's geographically large with members spread far and wide. Bringing consensus to this community is difficult when each town within has beloved infrastructure that they want to keep. So it leads me to my first question. And it leads back to this report that we spent $150,000 on that just gives scenarios from renovation to full multiplex recreational centers. Choices to move forward costing between 50 and 71 million. And even a renovation of the existing one, they've padded costs in there to look like that the recreation or the arena rebuild or renovation looks almost as good as a new complex, which is untrue. And padding of administration offices of $2 million that are like 2% of the space allotted when you have offices at the township office for people. So is council and staff aware that Third Line Studios report on page 43 is cautioning that these are only conceptual scenarios? It's nothing to really, there's no engineering, no business plan, no funding strategy, a failure to show where necessary partners are coming from. Is council aware and staff aware that Third Line warns of higher operating costs that will be incurred annually with any of these scenarios? We can't afford what we have now. When you put millions of dollars forward, how, with the building codes that are in place now, the costs are going to skyrocket. Is council and staff aware that they warn on page 44 that there can be no financial estimates of operating costs of these new multiplex scenarios at this time because user fees are currently, and this is their words, this is a quote, because user fees of this township are currently so low that any pro forma or estimate would demonstrate an enormous deficit and a deficit that would occur annually. It was also noted that before going through with any of their ideas, a complete strategic plan with a focus on recreation would be necessary. And I read the strategic plan. It's also vague. And also capital reserves for any new structure, any new renovation would be required for life cycle costs. And further, these have to be built into a business plan. Is council aware that on page 44, there was an admission by Third Line that they could not provide actual costs on even building out these scenarios due to other reasons, such as no site, no engineering, no true community consultation, no accurate budget, no partners, no funding. It goes on. It's a scenario, it's a dream. So in short, is council aware that these scenarios are only conceptual and that with actual plans to move forward, our municipality will require at least $20 million before a shovel even goes in the ground? So I'm confident that a multiplex recreation center is well out of reach for this municipality for the foreseeable future. However, this brings me to the question that's most urgent today. Is council and staff aware that on page 46, section 2, Third Line states, and I quote, and I'll say this slowly,
The timing of the closure of the Providence Bay Arena is an important consideration and is not yet identified. They recommend that the municipality should first commit to a proposed plan for renewing the arena and embark on a funding plan. And first, the broader funding plan is should be more clearly defined. The timing of the closure of the Providence Bay Arena can then be determined, not the other way around. Okay, I'm gonna go on with my notes. I could go on. My final question, has council thought of instructing their staff to investigate other communities that found themselves in the same situation with respect to infrastructure as our own? There's many. And I did some research. I know Mulmer was cited in the third line report.
Are you just about finished?
Almost, yes. Not almost done. Mulmer was cited in the third line report. The city of North Bay is something that I looked into, and both are great examples. One chooses to renew the old arena, and the other to build a multiplex. The example of Mulmer, when they started using that example, they were ready to build a multiplex. A community not unlike our own, with an arena from 1965 with the same concerns. But they decided not to build a new large-scale sports complex. Instead, the community has focused on incremental improvements. Mulmer, with a larger tax base and promise of faster growth than ours, our own being just outside of Toronto. They even did not opt for a new multiplex, but chose to renovate their existing arena. And I'll skip that, I'll go to North Bay. In contrast, North Bay did make a multiplex and it's almost finished, but they started in 2022 and they spent 52 million and there's still ongoing expenses. But for their operating costs, they have a casino within North Bay that is a funding partner for operating expenses. If we build anything close or over 20, 30 million, you're looking at operating costs that we can't afford. So we better find a plan, first of all, and Mulmer warns, that was another point, Mulmer warns that because of cost overruns and how long it takes for construction to be completed, you have to have another arena in place. We can't go to Ch'ing, we can't go to Little Current. We have one right here in this community. Why would you take it out? There must be some other reason that council has quickly decided this. What is the reason? That's what I would like to know.
Thank you. Mr. Scott Willis.
Oh, feel much like Alicia, not much of a public speaker. But I do want to start by thanking Richard for having this meeting. I want to thank the councils for coming and staff as well. Much like yourself, I do have and am held to a standard by the community. I started off being married in Minnemoya 25 years ago, rented, have owned multiple properties, raised a family, and I reside here in Prov. I'm also have gone from a volunteer firefighter to a captain here in Providence Bay. So my actions at times, or almost every day that I get called on those duties, I am responsible for and have to answer. Not that I've done anything wrong, not that I haven't followed procedure, but it's just to learn to go forward better. Every scenario is different, even though it may look the same, everyone is different. So we debrief on the fire team. We try to talk to each other, what can I do better to serve the people behind? So in that, with this third line plan that we had, the report on December 9th, the motion was made in favor to no longer fund the ice service in Providence Bay and close the Spring Bay Hall. My simple question is, individually, you made a vote. Can you justify it to us? Some said yay, some said nay. Why is what we want to hear. also does seem a little, I'm just gonna put red flags. The firemen, you know, something on the sidelines, this only happened within a few hours. Without review. We've heard, I went to the one meeting, we've heard that nobody talks at it because councilors can't do that because it's an unofficial meeting, but everybody seemed to. I shouldn't say everybody, but it appears like there was a broad conversation made, and decisions were made ahead of time. That same December 9th, same report suggested that a church be acquired. For addition, and in it, it was that the additional property may be required for the purpose to support this development. We're assuming that's why it was bought. Why was the church bought? What is the purpose? What is this plan? What are we going by? It's a very simple question, but it could plug a very big hole. We, the community, just don't know. And we just are asking for a simple, it's not that it's good, it's not that it's bad, it's just why? Why was that done? This third line report also says that our community is going to grow. My work's gonna get harder as a fireman, yours is gonna be harder as counselors and as staff and things come in. Simple math that we did in discussing some of our questions. Take 68 million and change, divided by the number of roll numbers or taxable places we have within Central Manitoulin. It was 64,700 and change per roll number. As a taxpayer, how can I afford that much more? Just for the one project to go ahead? Is our growth gonna be enough? We've already heard it, do we have the money to do this? Is it wise? I've also know things of the roads building. It's a need. I'm absolutely thankful that there is a new fire hall in Mindemoy, absolutely needed for the community, for what it can house. If we lose the structure for what we need to keep our maintenance going, we lose our roads crew, we lose that equipment. How much is that? Our fire hall went in at, I'm just gonna say 1 million. Was the start and roll of it. And I've been around for 25 years at fire department. I've listened to the numbers that they were on. It wasn't finished for that. It was finished for a lot more than the 1 million projected. So we take 68 million. What are we gonna expect beyond that? We know it's gonna be more. And that's if it's done today. Fire truck now, you order it, you guys know, that's today's price. When it's delivered, it could be increased by another 100,000. We're stuck paying that cost because we need that equipment, but we have to know those certain points. And again, living in Mindemoy, own property in Spring Bay, now live in Prov. That Spring Bay Community Center is vital. It is listed in this report as excellent. It has one little snag, one little hiccup in it from my understanding, but why close excellent? When there is still good that you're looking over, when there is, you know, I call it the Canadian Tire approach, good, better, best. Why are you getting rid of the best when the other ones have more need, as we know right now in this report? Take the time, please just review the decisions. People that need some of these simple answers, answer the questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Allison.
My name is Alison McDermott. I live in Providence Bay, and I'm gonna judge everybody else that they are the speakers. I am not. And from hearing everybody, I pretty much don't have to say anything, so they covered a lot of what I said, so I'm just gonna pick out bits and pieces of my afterthoughts. So be patient, as they may not be a run-on sentence like everybody else's was. One thing I'd like to point out is I put that sign over there just to show you in case you haven't been going on the budget or you haven't been paying attention to what's been on in the meetings. And it notes the last budget they did on, you can see it on YouTube for 2025. It gives the actual prices for 2024, what it actually costs to run the two facilities. And you'll see that Prague was 99,318, Mindemoy was 109,536. The reason I'm bringing this up is that supposedly you're bringing us down, shutting us down due to cost or costing too much. Whereas this shows that Prov actually runs for the better pricing, we are cheaper to run. You can see, the thing I want to question, and I think someone else is gonna bring up, is the difference in the insurance. Insurance for Providence Bay Arena is 45,847, where Minnemoya is only 36,000 and some. I question, has that ever been looked at? Does that mean that Providence Bay is the better place because it has the higher insurance? That's why my house works. If I have a nicer house than my neighbor, then my insurance is higher. So does that mean Prov's in better shape and for a better building? I'm not sure, but I'd like to question that. Providence Bay Community Center Board has offered up for the next 5 years, 15,000. So if you were to take that price off at the cost of our arena, it brings our running structure down to 84,318. That's with not having one specific user group like Minnemoya has. That's just with us having our hockey tournament, excuse me, and user use, and Providence Bay Community Center Board contributing. That is not a massive user group. That is just the fact that's what Providence Bay will run on for our budget, which is substantially lower. So when we're being told we're being closed because we're costing too much, I question that. That's my big thing. So I guess my bits and pieces. One of the questions I wanted to ask that I put forward to council was, I want to know if Central Manitoulin is a party of the Ontario Policy of Municipality of Council, section 271. It's called a transparency policy, where public transparency is always supposed to be out there. Ontario Municipal 2001 requires all municipalities and their local boards to adopt and maintain policies to ensure accountability and transparency in their operations. These policies are designed to ensure that the municipality's decision-making is open, clear, and visible to the public. Actions are to be transparent. My question to them was, tell me how all of this has been transparent. Providence Bay Development Plan budget. The reason I bring this one up is because when we were told that the arena would be closing, Councillor DeBolt says, oh, we'll put something else towards Providence Bay. We'll put it towards Providence Bay. So my question then was, tell me what Providence Bay is what the ratepayers are gonna get out of this benefit of closing our arena. What is the community gonna get? And please, and I put this in my question, don't tell me. It's for the washrooms for the tourists, change rooms for the tourists, parking improvements for the tourists, and I could go on. I'm a community member. I pay taxes here. I didn't sign up for the tourists. I pay my taxes. I choose to live here. My family has always lived here for 100 years. So it's not like I just moved here as a tourist. And I would like to be treated as other municipalities in this, as respected and where my tax dollars should go. I don't think it should run to the biggest community that the council may want to embellish. That's just my opinion. It also has here, that's on the website, the municipality of Central Manitoulin is formally committed to the enriching and the quality of life for persons with disabilities by fostering fully accessible community. This commitment is rooted in principle to dignity, dependence, and integration, and equal opportunity guided by the accessibility of Ontarians with disabilities. So my thing is, if you were to close the Prov Arena, which is accessible, is Spring Bay accessible? Where is these accessible buildings for our people who are disability in our? Are they supposed to wait until this plan comes up? Where are they supposed to have their dignity and independence? When you close our other facilities, what are they supposed to do? Wait for 5 or 10 years when this plan comes up? While you try to create a plan for the inaccessible buildings that are already established in other communities? I bring forward the Sandfield School. We've taken over that building. I have no issue with a reopening. I think every community, and I've said this in public meetings before, I think every community in this township should have their own buildings. I have no problem with that. I'm willing to pay my tax dollar to keep it open. But you have no idea what that money's going to bring in. You have no idea what kind of money they're going to be bringing in as people renting it. But yet, you're opting to put I believe it was $10,000 in for accessibility, push button accessibility for our people who are disability. As well, you budgeted, I think it was 25,000 or so. But you'll close a valid Spring Bay Hall with the excuses of expenses or the damages are too expensive. That is not the Spring Bay people's taxpayers' fault. That was responsibility of the township. That wasn't them who wasn't keeping an eye. And it's now showing that their revenue, well, sort of as a run on, that's not their fault, that's a township issue. someone else brought up the issue of people not paying their bills, are paying their bills, but aren't getting billed. That's another issue I've heard from other people as well, which makes it also look on their budget as though they're not making money. I just feel like Spring Bay and Providence Bay are being the sacrificial lambs. You want to take our tax dollar from Long Bay over, and you want to take it to the other community, and you want to embellish on them. I feel, in my opinion, I feel you want to close these buildings, and then when the purpose comes up for grant money issuing, when you qualify, you're trying to say, oh, look what we have. We have a hall currently that has no accessibility. We've had people carrying a gentleman up the stairs to a funeral in a wheelchair. How is that right? How is that being allowed? But it was done, and the council lets it carry on. We're not sacrificial lambs. We pay our taxes here. We've got a building that's totally accessible. Spring Bay is a building totally accessible. It doesn't make sense to me why you'd be closing them. There seems to be something stinky in the air going on here.
Yeah, right.
Mitchell, Councillor Mitchell said in tax budgets the other day on YouTube there, he says, when you guys were talking about increasing the taxes, you didn't want to keep it at 5, you wanted to go 3, and then you wanted to go 4. And he says, he uses the example of a little old lady next door. Can't raise it that, even if she's got to pay $145. That's, you know, he's on a pension, he can't afford to pay that. But $145, but we can demonstrate what it costs to run Providence Bay. Why aren't we using Providence Bay? Why are we folded to one that must only play in Minimore, they won't play in Prov, who are helping with the deficit of our building? Why is the council allowing that? You keep the building open in Minimore to accomplish them, to appease them. They're not forced to come over here, not that you can force anyone to use it, but you just appease them and you let them come over, which makes our Providence Bay Arena not used. Doesn't make sense to me.
You just about finished, Allison.
Yeah. Well, it's something, other people have brought up the mission statement. There's other parts in that mission statement too, but I maybe can't find it really quick, sorry. Yeah, your mission statement also says, as well as what Darren says, is values acting with equality, fairness, and accountability. Your strategic goal is maintaining a strong relationship with the community, which also I don't think is being done. Another thing I'd like to say that I can't unhear, that I was told by somebody, and there's about 20 of us in this room that have heard it, but there might be somebody who, and they probably know who they are, that had put out there, they had intentions on the arena. They had plans for it. They thought maybe they would have to have us poke at it, see what they could do with it. And as a ratepayer and other people that heard all about this, maybe that person should maybe come forward and say what maybe why they're doing what they're doing, but that would be up to them. But
Thank you, Allison. Next on the docket here is Christine Cranston. I've got Bailey's name here too. Are you splitting the timeline?
Me tonight. So good evening, my name is Christine Cranston, and as most of you know, public speaking is definitely not something that I do, so please let that be a sign of how important community is to me. So I'm definitely very against decommissioning the ice plant, as well as closing the Spring Bay Arena, or sorry, Spring Bay Hall. I've lived in Spring Bay and Providence Bay for the majority of my life, and the community buildings are important to me as I spent most of my youth enjoying these facilities. I know we have many talented artisans and crafters in our area, which we can combine with community events, which would foster connection, support, and a shared purpose in the community. Over the last year, I've spent attending many markets across Manitoulin Island, and I have seen how it has brought communities together and the ability for locals to show their talent and make many connections. I'd be happy to work with the Spring Bay and Providence Bay Recreational Committee as a lead in organizing market events to bring the community together if we felt this was a value. In addition to having adult vendors and markets, I also feel it's important to include the youth in these events through organized activities or the opportunity for them to become youth vendors. As an example of this would be offering junior tables where the youth could show their talent and participate in these events and potentially build their confidence. We could also offer support and mentorship as well to our youth to further develop their creativity, leadership, and financial knowledge. Also, there's an opportunity to work with other groups in the community to combine events, for example, a market as well as a community lunch. And let me just leave you with this thought. I'm passionate and prepared to assist in bringing the community and its youth together if we believe that market events would be beneficial. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Madison, McAllister. Got backup, do you?
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask that she speak on my behalf. There's not many people in this room for.
Okay. So it's a list, we have a list of questions, prepared for mayor and council. I'm not gonna go on a big speech like I did last time, it's just a list of questions. So, we'd like to know, what does commissioning mean? Will there never be able to be an operating ice plant in that building ever again?
Are these the same questions as was in the letter?
Yes.
Because we will be dealing with it after we have these speeches, so I would just
Okay,
caution you that we're not needing to duplicate it.
okay. The only question that is not in there, which I will ask is, I'd like to ask specifically Councillor Mitchell and Bazalin, directly, what your motivation for running for council was. Was it to shut down the very communities you are meant to represent? Because these actions support the opposite of what the majority of taxpayers in Providence Bay and Spring Bay are asking for.
Thank you. And now I see that we have a former councillor here, Pat McDonald. You have the floor.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know you were speaking.
First of all, I'd like to, I should introduce myself because there are a lot of those that there that I don't know and probably don't know me. I'm Pat McDonald. I live on Beaver Road. So I'm kind of between Providence Bay and Spring Bay. And so I, wanted to speak tonight on behalf of continuing to maintain and keep open the Spring Bay Hall. I want to thank council for coming to listen to us. Certainly, I know that it's difficult during the week to add a night when you're on council. But thank you very much. I also though would like to say that I am extremely disappointed in half of our councillors who didn't choose to attend. And also, it's interesting that those three councillors were councillors who voted in favor of closure. So I don't understand why they wouldn't come to listen to us. So anyway, having said that, I'm really humbled by all the speakers that have come before me and have to say that they've all done an excellent job. Mine won't be quite as up there, I don't think. Okay, so Spring Bay is a community that prides itself on the commitment of the residents to work hard to create a place that is attractive to residents and visitors. We certainly value tourists that come through Spring Bay. We need them. I know that sometimes we get angry with them, but we still need them. And so we have to make our communities attractive to them as well. They spend money in our communities. The fundraising that's been done over the past many years has relieved the municipality from the duty to perform capital projects on the Spring Bay Hall. I have some notes from a couple of community members that have been around a lot longer than I have about some of the fundraising efforts and maintenance efforts that have gone into the Spring Bay Hall. So from the 75 to 76, the Spring Bay Community Center Board was under it was an unorganized township, so they had their own board members. The hall itself was the Orange Lodge building, and it was just a shell when that group had it. So they had bake sales, bazaars, applied for grants. They were able to raise enough money to insulate, put in a ceiling, put in flooring, bathrooms, and painting. So that's quite an accomplishment for a small group. The kitchen appliances, the dishes, the silverware, the tables and chairs, not probably the ones that are there now, but they were all purchased by fundraising by the community center board. Once, the community center board was disbanded, the Campbell Local Services Board, was a government organization for unorganized townships, which Spring Bay was one. So it's Campbell Township. That board continues to help with fundraising. And they did euchre parties once a week. And so Friday night was euchre night in Spring Bay, kind of like hockey night in Canada. I don't know if they still use that. When I was growing up, hockey night in Canada was a big deal. So we had euchre night in Spring Bay, and that brought in quite a bit of money to the community, and in particular for that hall. When the 4 townships amalgamated to form Central Manitoulin, the community center board continued to fundraise, I believe primarily through their euchre nights. They continued doing the euchre nights, and the accessibility that we've all been talking about at the Spring Bay Hall was primarily funded by that community center board. The municipality didn't have to put very much money toward that. So I want to point out, I don't know if people have, even if our councillors have been to the Spring Bay Hall. If you haven't, you should go. It's a beautiful building. It's small. It's perfect for smaller gatherings, like if you had a birthday party for a family member or a retirement party that you didn't want to have this hall. I mean, this is a beautiful hall also, but you can get lost in it if you don't have enough people. So the Spring Bay Hall is the perfect size for that. So I think that everyone should visit that hall just to have a look at it. It is very nice. So there are a couple of people here tonight that didn't want to speak, so asked me to speak on their behalf, Nancy and Steve Head. They organized ball tournaments for many years in Spring Bay. There was a large ball field that was regularly used. I must say it's not used as much now, but that's something we maybe should bring back. You were there. Harold was there. Of course, Harold was there. They had community members build tables, bleachers. Everything was done by community members. Steve looked after the grounds at his own expense. He came and mowed grass. The community center board, with their fundraising and with the ball games, managed to put in bike racks and back holders. So there's been a lot of effort gone into that building. They had new benches for the players. Just had a new fridge bought, so the municipality didn't have to buy the new fridge. That was bought by the group that was fundraising. I know it's a group of council, but having said that, it was a hardworking group that put a lot of money into that hall. And all done by volunteers. None of it was paid. We didn't have recreation advisors or organizers. It was all done by community members. The Pearson Cup, the baseball Pearson Cup, was conducted every year at the Spring Bay Hall in the ball field. That's actually within my time. I can remember when I first moved here, I would go and watch my grandkids play ball at the Spring Bay ball field. So as I said, the information that information about fundraising I have received from other people. I really enjoy using that hall. I think we need to keep the costs reasonable for a hall of that size in order to promote usage. I didn't check the overall usage, and I'm not as good as I didn't have all the numbers, the budget numbers and all of that. So it's, but I dare say that a lot of the improvements to that building were done by community fundraising. The information I provided to councillors is just so that you have a better understanding of what can happen when a small community comes together. With so much having been completed at minimal cost to the municipality, we believe it's time for the municipality to step up and complete the repairs that were needed. Apparently, they're not extensive. nowadays you never know, the cost might be extensive because everything seems to cost a lot. But apparently there's some floor issues that need to be fixed, and I think that they should be fixed so that we can continue using that. The closure of the Spring Bay Hall has the potential of breaking the strong spirit of giving that the residents of Spring Bay have. The lack of transparency, I think, is an issue that has been presented by many people. And I think that it's pretty short-sighted to close a viable hall that is already accessible in a community that doesn't have a lot of accessible halls. Thank you. That's.
Thank you for the history lesson, Pat.
You probably knew it all. You probably lived it.
And last but not least is George Strain, so we'll let you take the podium, sir.
Hey, I'm George Strain. I'm here representing, I hope, which is a lot more of the taxpayers. I know I'm here to speak regarding that, the concerns that I have. Again, at the meeting Darren talked about, I also spoke. I don't want to rerun those numbers 100% again, but I do want to emphasize on the facts. And that was the financial statement year end 23-24. When everything come down, shipping out between Mindemoya and Providence Bay, it cost $2,000 more when you took the revenues and expenditures to operate Providence Bay. That would somewhat be whatever. That's including the excessive insurance rate that they're charging Prov, which I don't have any idea why, that I'm curious about. So that's the one. I'll just try to cut this down to 5 minutes. That's just one point I'd like to prove, because you can't compare just one building, which we're trying to do here tonight with numbers that I got from the municipality, where it says how much cost savings there's gonna be, which I find kind of funny. I'll just use one example. They're all there. I know it was not a lot of time to prepare the answers, but there's two things that I took out of there that are questionable. There's many more that are questionable. I'd love to sit down and talk and debate and discuss how they come up with those numbers, because I don't agree with them. One is supplies and services. You can take a building that is here and a building that is there, shut the washings down here for the whole summer when you're busy. You won't have any supplies and services in that building, but you're redirecting them to another building. So that's an example of the arena where you say we're gonna save money. If people are coming to this arena and it is then closed, where are they gonna go? They have to go to the other one. So those cost savings are not real. The other thing was, they talked about $800,000 for the ice slab here in 1 to 5 years. I would suggest everybody look at the building condition assessments. It's $1,800,000 for the slab in Mindemoya from 1 to 5 years. Those are just two numbers out of all those. And I'm not saying that the numbers they have in there can't be shifted and are 100% correct, but you just can't say with what was provided to me, this is what we're gonna save from 1 to 5 years, which was, I believe it was $1 million. But if you're to shut Mindemoya down, how much would you save? We're not seeing those numbers. So I'm just talking again as a taxpayer. The building condition assessments also state that Mindemoya is over from 1 to 30%. It is 32.5 over the 30%. And Providence Bay is roughly 25%. It's in the poor category, not the very poor category. So the chances are 1 to 5 years, or wherever you want to take the numbers from, the dice has already been rolling because that report is already a couple of years old, that the chances are if there's going to be a problem, it's probably going to be in the worst building. So to suggest that you're going to save $1 million at Providence Bay from 1 to 5 years is kind of smoke and mirrors and a shell game to me, because are we going to see a reduction in our taxes for that? And why not make it 10 years and then it'd be $2 million or more? or 50 years and we could pay for the new complex. It wouldn't cost us anything. We're gonna save some money if we shut this building down. So, it really, you know, there was counsel up there once, you probably know when I give the quote. Figures can lie and liars can figure. So that being said, not purposely, but you can take numbers and do things with them. We think you're gonna save all kinds of money. So my question is, with all that money the ratepayers are gonna save, is everybody getting a refund? Or are you gonna tax next year and just take the money, reallocate it somewhere else? And there's no savings. And I think that's probably what's gonna happen. So anyways, that's pretty much it, but I would be more than willing to go over anything on the building condition assessments, fifth line. And give you my facts and figures and my input, if somebody would care to listen. The one thing I'd like to say is thank you to council. Last night, finally, went to the property meeting, because you never even know when somebody's gonna screw out there, let's shut the property been hauled out next without any warning. And finally, the third line report, council's actually gonna have a meeting now and actually look and see what's in it. Well, that's a great idea. That's a lovely idea. And what is the plan going forward? I asked that originally there. Give me a plan, even if it's a bad plan, and I can go, that's a shitty plan, but you know, you got one at least. But when you don't have a plan to tell the people, quite a few of them, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm arguing something I'm going on, are you gonna redo Minimoy Arena? Are you gonna buy property that may be for sale? Or, you know, and how much is that gonna be? So until we know exactly what the plan is, I think we'd wanna meet again at that time and have some input, but we need a plan. We need to know what you think it's gonna look like going forward. And I don't think this council, and probably not even the next council, are gonna be able to achieve that. So locking, handcuffing the new council that's coming in, possibly, to where there's no equipment in that building, and somebody had already stated, if you're gonna do any renovations over there, we could end up with no place for anybody to use any skating facility. Which is crap. We need a plan. And I'm glad you're gonna look at that report.
Yes.
And that's basically all I have to say.
Thank you, George. Well, I've learned a lot, most of it I already known, but we need to hear from the public, and we've heard it loud and clear. I'm not gonna stop there. As I said, we did have 13 people here registered that wanted to speak. They have all had their opportunity. I am not willing to close the door on a couple of minutes from anybody else that has something that they would like to add to the program.
Back here, I got a young fellow that wants to speak on.
Oh, I'm gonna put Mr. Dewar here. He's a senior.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to ask you if you had explained to your counselors the conflict of interest, and if you hadn't, will you do that? I'm not naming names, but would you do that, or have you ever done that?
I didn't catch that, Harold.
Conflict of interest to your council.
Well, all counselors are aware of the
Don't you
conflict.
take that oath?
They all took it. It was all part of the process that we have to go through when
I've
we.
been on council for many years, I know. Explain it to them.
Someone over here,
I was just,
name please.
Ben Dewar.
Okay.
I was just, listening to everyone speak, and it's all been for us keeping these, buildings. Where are the people saying we shouldn't have? Why has no one said anything about that? It's raise a hand if you're here for the buildings. Where, okay, everyone down, raise a hand to close them. Who wants to close them?
Raise your hand, John.
John, put your hand up.
Yeah.
All right.
He wants an agenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
One
Yes.
comment.
My name is Rolanda Tobin. I want to know when the Mindemoya Hall will be accessible. It was supposed to be by the end of last year.
25.
It was supposed to be,
We're only dealing with two subjects
Okay.
here tonight.
but you're gonna close two accessible buildings?
I didn't say we were closing anything.
Yeah, well.
That's
That's
good.
what it's about.
Go ahead,
My name's Glenn Black from Providence Bay. I'm glad to hear that there's been excellent refurbishing of the Providence Bay arena equipment for the ice making. Energy in arenas is the number one energy cost in any municipality. So it's a big thing with the rates going up with Hydro One. And you can put in chiller heat pump systems that run at 400%. So you pay for only $1 for electricity, and the heat is able to be pumped 3 from the environment for free by heat pumps. And those have been done on arenas. So there are futures for Minnemoya and for Prov for putting that in, which can save $400,000 to $700,000 in electricity over the life of the system, which is huge money that doesn't need and avoids this $65 million pipe dream that we have been listening to for 10 years now. And we're right back where we were 10 years ago when the idea I first heard about it. So I think it's time to put that multiplex to bed. It's dead. Don't bring it up anymore. Keep our arenas and our halls here, because that's what we need.
Agnes Cuthbertson. I have a little history lesson for you as well. And the names I'm going to mention: George Lentier Jr., Murray McDermott, Stu Cuthbertson. These gentlemen would roll over in their graves if they heard that that ice plant or the ice plant in Providence Bay was being decommissioned. Reason being, they are the gentlemen that funded and brought that ice plant here to get the artificial ice into that arena. It was not council. Many people here don't know those names, but some of you on council do.
Eric, I got a young fellow with me. He'd like to speak to board, or all the council here.
Can you speak, maybe step around?
There you go, KJ.
Okay.
Here.
Just spit her out and it'll all come naturally to you.
Tell him why you want to keep sponge book. Go ahead. Right now. Well, you speak for him there, Sean. We're here to speak on behalf of keeping Providence Bay Arena and the hall in Spring Bay for birthday parties and a voting booth as well. You close that, you're losing access to us traveling on winter days, stormy nights. You can't get past Minnemoy Dam to get up skate. It's pretty short here.
You can always use Blue Road.
Yeah, I've seen that road get flooded out. Now, I've also seen Minnemoy Arena get flooded out, where Providence Arena hasn't got flooded. So, what's the dilemma there? Now, by Minnemoya, there's no sponge buck. Providence, there's sponge buck. There's been sponge buck since I've been 6 years old here. Now, there's been a lot of you that's all played hockey here in Prague. I know that for a darn fact. And a lot of the kids that have grown up that aren't here present, but. And they went to NHL. And they are playing Major League Hockey, cause they started out on Prague. I started out, got my confidence in Prague, joined Team Thunder, Minimoy Thunders. Prague is a confidence builder for us and our youth. You take Prague out, you're taking it away from us, and you're taking it away from our kids that are coming. I got a 2-year-old son, and now you're gonna take his childhood away. I don't think this is right. I think we need to keep both places. Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak?
Just one more question if I, oh, sorry.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Elwood Sagal. I live here at Prague. I grew up in TO. For the youth that don't know, that's the Tacoma Outback. Not need any history lesson. I do need an English lesson. If somebody could explain to me what that first sentence on that sign means. The municipality of Central Manitoulin strives to provide recreation facilities for the enjoyment of all members of the community. What does that mean?
Well, I know what it means, since nobody else up here will answer, so, and, I'm trying to keep these buildings open for the people, so.
The history or the English lesson.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, just sitting here thinking, at one of the meetings where I wasn't allowed to talk, so I couldn't. Another meeting where I was allowed to speak, and then council didn't have to give me an answer. They said they had a good reason for decommissioning our arena. I thought we had a good crowd over at that meeting, and we definitely have a good crowd now, and somebody shouldn't keep it a secret anymore. I think he told us he had a reason. I think now would be the time to explain that reason when we're all here.
Yeah.
When would you like to explain that reason?
I'll leave the lady there to speak. She's already at the podium.
So you know my name. I'm Tina Davidson. I used to work for the municipality. I'm an active member of this community. I volunteer a great amount of my time to different community groups on this island. I'm a companion officer of the Sea Cadet Corps. I'm a director of the Fair Committee. And I'm the chair of the kids shopping spree. I'm gonna go back a few years and remind you of someone who used to sit in that chair and what her answer to any time we talked about, well, maybe we need to look at refunding, changing funding, doing this, doing that. Ruth Frawley, her entire motto when it came to what this municipality is supposed to do is provide services to all its community members. Let's not forget about Ruth. And she was right. And you always listen to her. And I don't understand why the conversation has changed so much. That someone who lives in this community would want to get rid of a service when everyone else in this community wants to keep it. You're asking someone who lives in Spring Bay to walk away from the only community building that we have. And we've used it for cadets. It is a great thing, not just for birthday parties or whatever, but for teaching first aid, for the culinary licenses that we now have to have.
Mental health.
Mental, like, there is a million things that
Yeah,
Okay, that's just one at a time.
well, and the Ag Society uses it for our meetings. How do we represent each and every, like, community if you're gonna cut off everything except from Minnemoya? We pay the same amount. My tax rate is the same amount as someone who has a farm outside of Minnemoya. So why do we not get the same services that Minnemoya gets? When Minnemoya has been proven to not be accessible, even though it was supposed to be mandated by 2025, it is not anywhere close. What are you doing about that? Why don't we focus some of this energy that you guys have on something that can actually really provide services to this community? You want to take them away? Why don't you give them to us? Because that hall in Minnemoya is basically useless because it's not accessible. But you want to take away accessible, and that just doesn't make any sense to anyone in this room.
All right, anyone else want to make a point? Oh, all right, well, you've already had your go at it there, go ahead.
I'd just like to know, where we going?
The name, please.
Oh, Trevor Blade, Great Bay or Providence Bay. I'd like to know where we're going next with this. We've all come out, support the buildings, and we don't have a plan. We don't know what's coming next. I was just wondering when we're gonna hear back about the results from this meeting.
Well, as we indicated in our last council meeting, there is going to be a property meeting, I guess, Derek, that we're gonna be reviewing it.
Oh, yeah, I was in the property meeting. Yeah.
We got the report there that was accepted, but it has not been discussed. And the next steps will come after those discussions.
Thank you.
Who's next on the list there? Anybody? Yep.
I am.
You are?
Richard, I am Sherry McDougall. John, I just want to know, I grew up in this town. I moved back to this town. What is your agenda? I've heard, there's been, like Allison has said, there's been some talk in the community. You want to put a trailer park where the arena is?
I have no idea where that came from, Sherry.
Well, it's not. It's not.
Where is this trailer park
He
supposed to
wants he wants to get rid of the arena and put a trailer park there.
go? The one in Prague.
Yes, I'm not talking about Minnemoy, I don't live in Minnemoy.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and another thing, all through this meeting, John, I have been watching you. I don't know you from a hole in the ground, but your smirks and your body language. Your body language is throwing you right off. You have no care for our community. You come in here, we're not the big cities in Toronto or down south. We're Providence Bay, we're the Manitoulin. Time is time. You may get there on time, you may not. So please, I just want to know, and many others here, what is your agenda? Council is going to be changing in October, so you want to give it all this uproar and get rid of everything, and then you're done. But can you explain what your agenda is? And don't point to Richard.
Well, I have to just go through me, Sherry, so don't
Well,
take that.
okay.
Anyways. You have made a request, and I've talked to John, and he's prepared to speak to you on why he chose to vote where he voted and his reasons behind it. So I'm gonna turn it over to John.
Can I just have, I know you guys said on meetings that you would talk about this in the next meeting. But my problem with this, is it gonna change? We're gonna have the same counselors who have the same, are running on the same head? I mean, it's almost like they've had these conversations, they're on the same page. And when we got the same guy running the meetings, is it gonna change? Is there a chance of this? Are we just bending over and blowing up our butts? Like, is this doing anything? Is there gonna be a change? Or can we trust that you guys will actually listen to us and follow through and not do the repeat of the last meeting we saw? That's all I ask for.
Don, you're on.
I'm there. So. I smile because there's a lot of coverage all over. Let me quell
And up.
Well, actually, it'll turn and it'll face my voice.
Not for me, not for Maya.
So,
Come on. Yeah. You have to speak to council. Come on, Denise, ask him.
As he is speaking, no, John, stay behind the table. He's a member of council.
Yeah.
He speaks from behind the council table. That way, all of public can see him when he speaks.
But not Maya.
You who spoke were addressing council.
Camera.
He is addressing you.
Thank you.
So the camera will pick me up. That's the nature of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let me speak not as counselor, but as John, the neighbor, as I had pointed out to one of the neighbors.
Then you need to come in front of the owl if you're not gonna speak at the council.
Just have to- The owl will pick me up.
That's really not the
Okay. So let's just speak as John, the neighbor, and what he's doing up in the lot across from Prop. That has put me into a position where a lot of people are asking a lot of questions. So the idea there is for a small trailer park, access across the river. Since I own 3 acres on the other side, as well as the 2 acres on the arena side. So, yeah, there's a potential. The drawings have been drawn up. It has not yet been resubmitted, and I say resubmitted to the planning board. So there will be more information that comes on that. Now, to quell a conversation that I'm picking up, I wondered where it came from. Now I know. Purchasing the arena? No. It's too many millions of dollars that has to go into that building if one wants to keep it. So John's not gonna put millions of dollars into an arena that he doesn't own or could possibly own. Just not in the plans. So let's now go to the point of John the counselor. So now I'll speak why this has come forward. And I'm gonna start with the budget and the money that we're taking from the taxpayers, the ratepayers, and what we're able and not able to do. So what we're not able to do is keep funding not only Providence Bay Arena, but also we have to look hard at Mindemoya Arena. And it's the 5-year plan and the 10-year plan and where we're going to be at that end of 10 years. Well, I can almost tell you for sure, it's a repeat and repeat again of what we're already doing. What the buildings will be worth at the end of that point in time, it'll probably be similar to the Workshare building, which has been basically extended its life by the engineering inspector, which is a structural inspection, that building essentially has to be replaced by the year 2027. So now you've heard budget figures come out that building has to be replaced. And if the budget figures is probably up to $9 million. But that's not the end of it. That hasn't come back to property. It is coming back to property in the next couple of months. And property will deal with that $9 million figure.
John,
And
we're
whittle
talking
it down.
about the arena. We're not talking
Okay.
about
But you
your
have
budget shit.
You have to understand where this is coming from. Because all of a sudden now, we're gonna spend $8-9 million on a building that we have to replace. We have no choice. Now, over the next 5 years, each of these buildings here, not specifically Spring Bay, Spring Bay is gonna take 100 to 150,000 to put it in good repair.
Not get or anything. We wanna know why you want to close these two facilities.
It's the cost of maintaining these buildings. We don't. Sherry, this is not an argument. You asked for my opinion. You asked for my opinion. Of the reason why. I'm giving you the reason why. We, as a municipality, don't have the money to support the expense that's gonna be put into these buildings. Not only the arenas. Not only the.
Church.
Okay, we can get to the church. We can talk. But not yet. Church off. You wanna leave the church off? I'll leave the church off. The problem is that we're already raising taxes this year. Actually, the corrected figure, it was 4%. It's actually 3.44. Now, that doesn't nearly cover the cost that we have to incur as a municipality to cover the repair of these buildings and the maintenance. The maintenance is ongoing. I've already calculated from the reports that we've gotten from the building, the BCA, the Building Commission, Building Condition Assessment. So on the average, we have to have $250,000 throughout the whole municipality, which is a lot of money to be had. Some of that, yes, goes right into this building here. It goes into Providence Bay Arena, goes into Spring Bay. It's a lot of money that we have to deal with that we literally don't have and can't raise the taxes fast enough to cover those costs. I think there's a young lady that came up and she made a comment towards capital reserves. Well, capital reserves are nice to have in the case of every building that the municipality has control over. But in the case of any of these buildings, specifically the arena, the capital reserves are not there to be had because of the extended or increased expense of maintaining these facilities and let alone building new facilities. The plan that came out from the consultants here just recently is, as some people say, maybe pie in the sky, but at least it's a direction, it's an idea, it's maybe a thought to go forward. But is it a thought to go forward for a new facility for the municipality? It's not in the works, people. It's not there. In my lifetime and in your lifetime, it won't happen. So, anyhow. Where'd you get the money for the church? What are you gonna do with it?
Harold is dealing with, John has the floor at the moment. You had your charge.
Well, they have to come up with it again.
Let him finish.
So Province Bay Arena. Yes, the ice plant is being closed down. That's the motion of council at this very point in time. But if you also note that the actual closing of the ice in Providence Bay doesn't actually take place until October. The same with you have from now until summer, end of summer, to convince us or have us change our minds. And if we don't change our minds, then it'll be up to the next council.
When you're done, John, I just.
Yeah. So there's some of your answers. George.
So what I just heard then is council is prepared to take the worst arena, the one that's gonna cost $10 million at the end of its 10 years. If those other capitals are done. And you're gonna invest monies rolling the dice in the worst building, but the best building you're not gonna secure, keep ice in it. Well, you said you need a new arena in Mindamoya, so that's probably not gonna happen in a year. And I don't know if we even still need a new arena in Mindamoya. But why are you sacrificing the one that's cheaper to put ice in, cheaper to manage, cheaper to maintain, costs less overall to operate, doesn't need as much capital put in it versus Minimoy for the same time frame, and that's not me, this is in the building condition assessments. So what is that really, put all that capital into plant now, is that really a wise decision? I don't know any businessman that would make that decision based on that.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't make any sense and say, oh, we're concerned about taxpayers' dollars, we can't afford it. But we're gonna keep the worst building open, keep throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars till we build a new one. That is ludicrous. We're doing it for what I see is for one small user group that has come over here, can come over here, and if they don't come over here, that's fine. They're a small percentage. You're supposed to be accountable to all the taxpayers, the people that don't even go to the arenas, that are too old or don't care about arenas, and yet you're gonna keep their tax dollars going to fund the worst arena, if we want to talk just money wise.
Okay. So I'll speak directly to you, George, with the questions that you have. When you look at the 10-year plan, really, when you compare the notes and the costs from the BCA's, essentially it's the same money. They're within thousands of dollars as far as.
On capital.
Yeah, they are. So now when you look at the usage, how is the usage of Minnemoya compared to Providence Bay? How much more usage is there in Minnemoya than Providence Bay?
So we're just basing things on usage now? Is that the way we're gonna go? Because we talked last night, there was 12 rentals in Sandfield, 14 rentals the next year. Willing to, we don't know how many rentals there's gonna be. So are we talking usage? And again, I think they should have that building, but there's tons of usage versus other places, but yet you wanna close Spring Bay Hall down. So I don't know if it's money, usage. It should be a combination of both, but it should be fiscally responsible to the taxpayers also. And if they can't rent out of this one for 10 years, which I don't see that actually happening, till the new one is done and in, there's gonna be a void where there's no arena at all. They will not be able to build an arena in 1 year there.
Well, there is a potential for no arena as we see it. As we have it now, there may not be an enclosed arena. It might be an outdoor covered arena of that sort. They're the least expensive to build. Sure. But. Okay, I got a question. Right at the very back there.
McConnell, Man Road, Providence Bay. Is there a refrigeration guy in the room? Anybody do? No. I wanna know if there's an advantage of decommissioning a plant, like if we just would be sitting there.
Would you come up with this?
Sure. Problem. I don't understand air conditioning or heat pumps or anything like that. I wanna know if there's an advantage of decommissioning a plant rather than just letting it sit there. Like if you're gonna let a car sit somewhere for say a couple of years, do you pull the air conditioning out of it? Because it's just sitting there? Like, is it good for it?
We'd answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't, I can.
So.
Okay, you can try, but then I will.
So the answer to the question is the ammonia that's in the system. So if you maintain the ammonia in the system, it has to be inspected on a regular basis. If there's no ammonia in the system and it's charged with nitrogen, nitrogen will maintain the quality or the pump itself and displace the moisture that might be there. But the ammonia becomes the problem if you leave it. If you get to the point of decommissioning, then you're gonna remove the ammonia and you're gonna remove the brine throughout the ring as well, because it is considered a hazardous material. So that's the reason for decommissioning if it goes to that point, is to remove the harmful effects of the ammonia. And I think we've all heard that ammonia in arenas, sometimes you have to have they have had problems over the years. They have safety guards in place and alarms and
Yeah,
whatever.
again, I
Because then
understand, you're selling it there, but I don't agree with you. We run ammonia and diesel engines as depth fluid. I mean,
Yeah, I think we're getting into too much.
I know, I'm sorry. It's like-
I can answer it.
Do we hear another lecture there?
Somebody that actually has the answers.
Oh, yeah.
And I, people know that. After a question in this building. Reason that they want to decommission it. You can just shut it down and maintain it. And George knows this. And it could be closed down for years. You can go and start that back up. If we decommission it and pull the brine out of all the lines and the whole bit, that plant will never be able to be turned on again.
Yeah, right.
Because the new guidelines will not allow it. And he knows it.
Yeah. And there's.
That's why one of it can never, another council cannot change the decision.
Right on.
Okay, I think we
don't want to go around the circle.
Let's change it. One more. Everybody's got their own opinion and it's not gonna be a judge between them because it's not gonna work.
I have a finance question.
What we do have is these questions that were sent in earlier that were left. And do you want me to complete them? Do you want me to read them and provide the answers?
Yeah.
Or are you ready to, are we gonna have coffee, Denise, or we're ready?
I don't vote on that.
No coffee.
Not in the budget.
If you want to answer these questions, we will answer them for you. And the first one was, what does decommissioning, and we just finished talking about it, mean? Will there never be able to be an operating ice plant in that building ever again? So this is staff's reply, is the equipment would be discontinued from all piping, electrical connections disconnected, and an ammonia recovered. The brine would be pumped out from the floor and disposed of, and the header sent and return lines capped. The ice plant decommission would mean to render the equipment not usable. This is great. So that's the answer to that.
He said it simpler. I have a question.
The next question is,
Not taking any.
what savings does no longer have ice, does not have the ice in the Providence Bay Arena create? And it says, refer to the attached was what the summary was that showed that with ice, the cost of maintaining the arena is $101,000. Without the ice, it is $71,000. So the answer to that is less $30,000. Yeah. Wow. That doesn't change a whole lot to what 30. Is the motivation because in order to get funding for a new facility, new facility in Mindemoya, we need to make it look like we don't have anything to provide these services. And the answer is no, because there is no relationship between the two of them.
Whose answer was that?
I want to answer, listen to staff's answers, then I can leave, let it go.
I asked council not to.
And there was, has council thought about where all of the events that may go on throughout the large municipality on the same weekend are going to be held? And I think that was a very good question. And I can't have the answer because we all know that there are several things going on within one weekend. So we do use all of our facilities. And as council looked into the impact of these losses on their ratepayers or just the potential cost savings. And I could pull up the 5-year summary that I have here that indicates certainly all of these facilities, whether it's the arena, the halls, or any other facility, do not make money, and they're not intended to make money. They provide a service to the community. And that's what our total tax dollars are for. So if we're looking at it from a big perspective, then we're reducing services and we're not providing anything in lieu.
And our taxes aren't going down.
They're going up.
Possibly a municipal services review?
Has council considered that there is huge potential for expanding the tax base and economic growth and development in Providence Bay, with the beach being a great attraction and shutting down winter month functions will hinder that. And that is true. But I've talked for years about the idea of developing something here in Providence Bay. But you and I know that in the current economy and the environment, it's not gonna happen unless we have water and sewer. And anybody I've talked to in the area are not willing to take on that expense. As council observed and taken into consideration just how many people travel to Providence Bay for the 2 well-attended hockey tournaments, and that it brings business here, which are one of the few things that draw people here in the winter. If we had a corner store, which we don't, it would benefit as well. In bringing businesses to the businesses as well as bringing businesses to Mendon.
We have a curling rink.
What's that?
We have a curling rink.
Oh, yeah, we do, don't
A lot of people.
Has council considered the amount of money raised by both the curling club and the community center board, which all goes back into the community, and that these tournaments will not transfer to Mendon as these volunteers have pride in their community? Can't disagree with that either. I do not accept the decision to take the ice out. However, if you are set on that, what is the council commitment to bringing something to Providence City?
Nothing.
So that one, I don't have an answer for either.
Richard, is there not a condition in the act that if you have new evidence that a motion can be overturned? Do you know, Denise? I think it is in the act that if you have new information, because everybody keeps saying the motion is made, it's done, but I think.
I hope it's not.
Yeah.
I think we've got to have.
Yeah, so I think if you have
I've heard
information,
loud and clear tonight.
but you wouldn't be violating the municipal act by doing that.
No.
No, there's always methods and reconsiderations.
Yeah, so you can do reconsideration.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I
I
think.
just wanted to make that clear because people think it's finalized like this.
I know that this whole process has been turned around. This meeting that we've had here tonight is the information we needed before any decisions were made.
Then you should.
I'd like to point out, Mr. Mayor, that there's just as many people in this room as what were in the survey in that report.
And I again apologize. I apologized before, but I will apologize again that we didn't stop and redo and rethink what we did on motioning this through at the time we did. It was an add-on to the process, and at the time it happened, and we didn't get a chance to talk to you and to listen to you and to get your feelings, and we've done that tonight. And I'm hopeful that we can work with Denise and find a way to take this back the council and ask for a reconsideration.
So, yeah.
I have another
Go for it,
question.
John.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to hold the floor, but
Oh, you're, well,
now I forget what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Well, you think I'll speak,
Just a minute.
if you don't mind.
Give me a
At
sec.
the January 13th committee meeting, Councillor Mitchell did say, this is not a done deal thing. We had to get things on the table, open up some discussions and get some dialogue going. He says this motion can be changed. So that brings me to my last question. Will it change? Because those that sat and listened to that meeting where they did the presentation and then you guys voted on it. They made the presentation, like somebody else said, 2 hours later, motion was passed, and then it was first, second, done, gone. Next meeting, oh, I'd like to put in there that I'm gonna decommission it. First, second, done, no discussion. Nobody said, what is the decommission mean? No, they already, like, to me, they already had this conversation. Like, again, Councillor Mitchell had said, George, we can't even sit at a coffee shop, the three of us, and have a discussion on this kind of stuff. You know what? When I go to a meeting or I attend a meeting and someone says, I want to pass a motion, just decommission it. Someone goes, first, it's second, done. There's been a conversation. They just didn't sit at home and say, I wonder what's going to happen at the meeting today. When they go 1, 2, first, second, done, passed, that's when I say something's fishy.
Yeah.
So
So does this council.
anyway, I go.
Well, Richard, I was just going to say that hopefully there is some mechanism of not letting this lack of transparency happen again. Because this was clearly something that should have been discussed further, not just a motion one night. Like, I mean, it's just the way it happened. It felt like it was being pushed, like Allison said. So, I mean, I don't know if there's a mechanism that can be implemented. Maybe the CAO can be sort of on top of that if there's something that comes up that could have some big community impact. So that there is
I think it's something
discussion.
that needs to be studied and.
Yeah. Yeah.
If there's a way of doing it, Denise will find it.
Yeah.
Put it in there. Mr. Mayor, I've asked for take at this after we've had this meeting. I said it went backwards. We should have had this meeting first.
Yeah.
If we didn't,
Well, you should.
but we can do what we can to bring things back.
So let's not let that happen again.
Yeah.
Point of Mr. Mayor, I'd like to bring up the comments made by another councillor at the next meeting that comes to.
Go
ahead.
No comment, doesn't matter, truth.
That is.
All right. Are we wanting to hear any more questions answered here?
Kenny.
What do you want? I have a name?
Oh, I'm Shirley Dewar.
Okay, I think sure.
We've listened to the council members talk about closing down the Spring Bay Hall and Providence Bay Arena. You're going to decommission the ice plant. What's going to happen to these empty buildings? We have a drug problem on this island. That's a great place for the druggies to get in. Or are you going to dismantle the entire buildings? Did you think that far ahead? Bro, I think we deserve an answer.
Want an answer?
Well, the answer, if you got an answer, John, I got an answer.
So, sorry, can I have the floor for a minute?
If you stand.
I'll stand. So in the budget for this year, just so that you know, the inspection of the roof trusses in Providence Bay Hall is going to take place. So the arena, sorry, in the arena is going to take place. It's part and part of what we have to do as a municipality to make sure that building is safe. We have to have a structural engineer inspect those trusses, and George can attest to that. And if there's any remedial work that has to be done, which is sandblasting and painting, that is currently in the budget to perform. So the closing of the hall, sorry, the arena, is not going to take place anytime soon. The anticipation is to keep the building in itself, open for use, spring, summer, fall. And also for the Ag Society, which make good and plenty use of that building.
Well, what do we use an arena for, if not for hockey, public skating, etc.? This, again, is not making a lot of sense.
So the amount of use that you get out of the arena.
Is cut in half.
It wasn't, could be,
Could be,
could very well be.
that's right.
But the,
So my question was, what is your solid plan for the Spring Day Hall and the arena once they have been shut down? We need to have an answer to that before you close these facilities down.
so the Spring Bay Hall, let's talk about that. I've already talked to it. We have to find out and inspect what's going on underneath the building. We already know that there is a problem with the.
What
floor.
is your plan?
The plan is to close that building.
And what is your plan after it is closed? The same with the
This,
arena.
this building here will substitute for Spring Bay.
No. These people don't live here, they live in Spring Day. A lot of them are seniors.
Okay, it's argumentative.
Transportation.
It's argumentative.
Richard,
This is the reason for this meeting.
when you put the motion in, and Todd just asked if that motion can be, like, can that motion be revoked? And start from here now and scrap the motion. And then
Yeah.
start from here and listen to what we're trying to say.
We've heard what you're trying to say, Sherry, and we're quite versed in it.
But take the
I need
can the motion
some
be
legal
removed?
advice here at this point.
Yeah, but
We've got a
I'm,
motion on the floor
yeah,
that was carried by the council at the time. But if there's a way to reverse that,
well, Denise just said there was.
then we'll work on it.
So
and
if we
Then we'll go for
reverse
another.
the motion, and then that's like, why pass the motion without having all of us here present?
We can't do it now. We don't have to have a quorum here.
Where the
Yes,
where
we
is
do.
it?
We have a quorum. This is a council meeting.
You do have a forum.
But the other two ladies aren't here.
You don't have to, they don't have to forum.
No, they don't have to.
This is.
We can have. Okay, like, a lot of,
This is done backward.
I agree with you that a lot of these decisions came hastily. And there should have been a little bit more forethought and staff reporting into what the third line report said in order to guide council's decisions and choices. Which is why we are bringing it back to property so that council can then look at it and have a fulsome discussion on it. There is always opportunities for rescinding of motions. That is a viable option. Can it be done here and now? No. It cannot be done in this venue right now.
Quorum has to be advertised.
Yes, this is.
Like the last time.
All of our meetings are online. You're welcome to come to any of the meetings. The next meeting is the next meeting where this will be discussed is the property committee. That would be the second Tuesday in March. You're all welcome to attend.
March.
February. It'll be the second Tuesday in March. Okay, these motions are not going to be actioned upon because none of them at this current time. Right? All of the action with respect to these motions aren't gonna happen till way later on in the year. So there is time for council to review these motions and to either change them, action upon them. You can be part of that process, attend the meetings, even if it's virtually. Keep yourself up to date. You know, write your counselors, put in your opinions. This is what democracy is. You don't like a decision, make a complaint. This is why we're here now. Okay? Like I said, no motion is ever set in stone. You know, and until the ammonia comes out of the plant, it's not a done deal. Right? So you've got time. Okay, we've got time. We've got time to review the report, review the next step, provide reports to council, review if it's requested by council, review and or rescind the motions. So I don't want to be alarm out there in the community thinking, oh my God, this is what we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna do. No, like I said, this is months in advance and there's lots of time to write the matters as the public sees it. Okay, but like I said, please attend the meetings, watch it virtually, talk to your counselor. Keep the communication going, because that's what democracy is.
Will we be violating the fire regulations if we all come?
Well, like I said, it's online, so there's lots of bandwidth, so you're welcome to attend online. Our meetings are also published on Facebook. So even if you can't attend the meeting, you can always review it. Okay? For YouTube, I apologize, YouTube. Okay, so be part of the process.
So you just mentioned that we could talk to council. This is what we got back from a counselor. Hello, John. My name is, I'm a ratepayer of Providence Bay, also a member of the Providence Bay Community Center Board. I wonder if you would have time to have a short phone call so I can suggest a solution that may work for everyone. John's kind response. Hi, so-and-so. Nice of you to show your interest in the Prov Arena. It would be better served on the meeting on February 11th for all to hear. How are we to contact them if these are the responses we get?
Ward has two counselors. You don't get through to one, contact the other, or bring it directly to me and your information will go to council in correspondence form.
I remind you, this meeting tonight did not happen by accident. It was asked that we wanted a forum to be able to express your opinions and to get your ideas. That's what we've done. And I'm very pleased and proud of the fact that we've got those answers. And we're going to do our darndest to see if we can do some changes here that meet your wants and your needs.
Can I just ask one question?
A couple more questions. Go ahead, Nancy, you're having anything stand up.
So, you said that, Spring Bay Hall hasn't been looked at underneath, but he's saying that it's gonna cost like 150 or 200,000. How do they know that? Like, if it hasn't been looked at, how do they know what it's gonna cost to fix?
I think that's a good question.
I just wanna know, like, how do you know that?
But
It was John that said.
I know, but I kind of resist pointing out members, like,
No, I just
everybody's got
wondered
their opinions.
did you have somebody look at it or? No?
Budget for the did you have an answer?
Yeah, we did have a budget set for, as Adam said, a structural engineer for inspection.
And nobody
But
inspected.
the numbers that we have right now are only from experience. Okay, the problem that we've seen is in the kitchen area is no longer level. So it has to tell you something. When I was talking to an electrician here not too long ago, he had to do some electrical work and run some wires. It's wet underneath there. He says it's water. So you have to assume that the floor had slipped, probably because there's some rock of some sort. So yes, we have to have somebody come and have a look.
I just wondered if you knew.
Just experience.
You just.
Dale, you haven't been active.
It hasn't been looked at at all. We've got $10,000 in budget.
Five.
To do the assessment of the building, and that hasn't happened yet. So whatever anybody's saying, that's gonna cost 50 or 100 or 150,000, just a guess.
But you closed it on a guess.
But it is scheduled to have an engineer look at it so that we can have a better estimate on what the repair will cost. That is currently in the budget and what you're closing it.
Well, are we allowed to do any more like we used to where volunteers stand up? You might want to donate a piece of plywood or some guy might be a kitchen cabinet guy. Are we allowed to do that anymore or is it sure it's been in balance? That's not an option anymore for volunteers in the community?
The idea of volunteering is pretty much a thing of the past.
That's not true. That's not true.
Umpteen tickets to be able to prove that you're able to do everything.
So what about if the Spring Bay decided to form another community center board? Would they be able to do it as a group themselves and fundraise and ask a certain contractor if you want to do it for a cut rate, or is that an
Very
option?
much
They made
under the
community center board?
municipal.
You have to follow our permit, you have to. So you couldn't just hand it to one contractor, it'd have to be like an open bid kind of system.
No, but if they had, say their husband was a contract.
They would have to be an open tender.
Yeah.
Why can't the building?
Okay, I'm gonna get your hand in there yet. You're gonna wear it out.
Therese Trainer, my understanding is that the 2024 financial statements have still not been audited, is that correct?
24 still in process.
So by not having our financial statements audited in good time, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars in grant opportunities are we foregoing because we can't make those applications?
That's not a
Haven't gotten
discussion
any
for this meeting, that's not what this meeting is
Hundreds of
for.
thousands of dollars potentially lost in grant applications because our financial statements are not audited.
Wonder why?
So,
You can assume
So Denise, you mentioned we need to attend to the meetings. Any of us in this room, I'm sure, have busier lives than to be able to tune into every meeting. Thank you. Can you offer a time to summarize them to all of us and let us know when something sneaky might come through? Anyways, is there a specific meeting that we should all be focusing on and paying attention to and making sure we're there to show our faces to again repeat the interest that's obvious in this room? Like, is there, because we can't, you meet a lot and some of us have kids. And we can't be expected to babysit every meeting and to try to read between the legal jargon that happens.
the issues
You
that we
understand what
talk
we're
about
gonna do
here
thing.
are generally are generally part of the property committee meeting. And that meeting is the second Tuesday of every month.
Okay, but we can't talk at those meetings, so
If you request to be a delegation ahead of time, then yes, you may speak at that point.
okay, and then my next thing is, John mentioned the assessment of the trusses at the arena. So if that comes back and there needs to be work done, can it be made very aware what this dollar figure is in an estimate? Because as you all know very well, our communities are very good at fundraising when there's a need. We've seen it over and over again, but we need to know what these numbers are before people can even try to get up the activities to raise funds, right? So it needs to be very aware, not hidden in some legal jargon that none of us can understand or a budget. Make it very aware to these community user groups that it's gonna cost X amount of dollars to keep this facility going. There's so many people who care about these buildings. Let us know, and then maybe we can, look what happened with Mindemoy Arena, it's proof of it, right? And that can happen here too, but we need to know before last minute decisions are hastily made.
I hope we've learned that lesson.
Thank you.
All right. I think we've pretty well taken care of the timeline here.
For a little
Work with
food for thought. So.
You've been waiting there for a while.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 10 Pierce, Providence Bay, 29 years. Mr. Mayor, Councillor Denise, first of all, thank you very much for this meeting that's been put on this evening. You all know the feeling now, and this goes across Central Manitoulin. It's not just Providence Bay. So now you know how people feel and what they're looking for in the future. So we're now all looking for a lot more democracy in action from City Hall, and we expect this to be in the expositor next week. Thank you.
Just for a little food for thought, if they want to make this new sports complex, so they want to close the Prov Arena, Spring Bay Home. So why doesn't council sell Minimoy Arena. And then church they bought. Take by John's 5 acres. Complex there.
We'll make a note of it. All right, I am going to call this meeting to, I got one finger up there that.
Has it spoken? That's good. I'm sorry. I'm not really interested in politics and things. I never really followed about this evening. I just want to express one other sympathy for the council. Just Google life expectancy of ice arena in Canada and Google examples of collapses. My father was a structural engineer. He was a professor at Laval University in civil engineering. He sat to testify twice as an expert witness in buildings that collapsed. To me, that's an extremely serious issue, and it's the first time I've heard now that you mentioned life expectancy, and that is a major issue. Look at the number, just Googling, there's 14 cases in Canada of buildings that collapsed, and life expectancy, more than 45% of arenas in Canada are over their life expectancy. In Minimum, and here it's 70 years, so just take that information into consideration for these very important things. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. Last one.
So I have to introduce myself.
That's right, just so we know who you are.
Irel Sagan from Providence today. I've been here 20 years since I've been born. And as a community, we kind of shrunk as a kid. And as I'm now reaching 20 years old, imagine the kids 20 years from now, who are my kids, if the arena that is now up going to be shut down, is the idea decommissioned, never open again, we're supposed to get a new complex. And you're basing that money that this past arena that we have right now, in the next 10 years might require, I believe we said 9 million way long ago, that it was something close to 9 million was what, if you looked at another building and it was to be closed. Where do you shut this arena and build another one for 68 million, whatever? Does that not, what in 20 years, how much is that 68 million bigger arena gonna cost to keep repairing it? In consideration, like, it's a bigger building, supposedly, if it's supposed to be replacing 2 arenas, it's supposed to be replacing all these community things, and it's supposed to be this much bigger and this much more expensive. If it's a bigger area, how much is it gonna cost to keep it repairing after the 20-year mark, 40-year mark, for the kids after me and their kids and so on?
Well, I appreciate your thoughts. Try 80 years. See the difference of what's happened in this community.
Yeah.
I grew up in it too.
And that's what I'm asking right now. I'd like to know what, if we're basing our numbers on this arena is going to be so much money in the 20 years, in 80 years, 100 years, there's $68 million arena that's way bigger than the one supposed now. How much more is it going to cost in those 80 years? And that long-term plan.
You're as good a guess as mine is.
That's what I'm asking. That's what my guess is. Where's the correlation to the base shutting down the entire arena? Because it's going to cost so much in 10 years and build another arena that's way bigger that potentially costs just as much or if not more, but just bigger. Is there not a correlation there at all?
George, I said last week.
Thank you for taking. I would just like to further the question that Ms. Dewar spoke about. So if the savings or the cost saving is supposed to be $30,000, we still need to put all of the capital work into that arena up there. So that is quite a bit extra cost, but we're now down to basically the summer use. What do we have going on up there in the summer? We've got a kids program that can easily be moved to Minimum, and we have the fair 1 weekend a year. So is this a foot in the door? I can't believe that council is going to spend that much money for a kids program that could be moved to Minimum. And or if the fair people are buying, they're going to keep it open. Council is going to keep it open for 1 weekend a year. I got some property I'm looking to get rid of, but it's the trust thing, and that's where I'm coming from what has happened so far. If you're gonna spend all that other capital for there's maybe an odd wedding or whatever, but what is 30,000 on top of that? It's nothing. And I think the Providence Bay Community Center Board is quite generous in their offerings, of $15,000 a year. I mean, I myself wouldn't be so generous. As a taxpayer.
I don't have an answer, George, but I do have a promise that we are going to revisit this whole issue. And we've got the input and the feelings of the community, and we're gonna deal with it.
Yeah.
Meeting is adjourned.